Yo guys, just thought of sharing something here, and this might be on Facebook. I don't know. As I'm recording this, I'm just thinking because at the end of the day, when I post things, it's not to post things for recognition, for validation, none of that there. At the end of the day, I'm nothing. And at the end of the day, with dust, we're all going to die. But I like to share things what will change the next generation and send a message to the next generation. Because why? 99% of us has been conditioned that alcohol is just relaxing thing that we should drink and etc. And it ruins marriages, number one, relationships, family, health, etc. It creates violence, it makes you broke. So what's the point of end of the day putting that toxic chemical in your body? Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys what has helped me for the past few years. Please check out this guy's channel. At the end of the day, I can thank I can thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to directing me to these kind of people, because if I never knew about this guy's channel and stuff, I was basically, let me look you right in the camera, guys. I was basically going to struggle. I used to party a lot, etc. Wrong friends, etc. And some of my friends, if they're hearing this out, I don't care, because some of them are still drinking. In the end of the day, what I show and what I share, whether it's on Facebook or whatever, any social media, I don't go and post things to say, hey, I'm in Durban, I'm here, there. Nah. At the end of the day, it's to make a change in your life, because at the end of the day, a lot of people are seeing alcohol as a normal thing. So please check out this guy channel. Let's watch some content here with him. Alcohol, what's the use of having it?
If you don't drink, you don't miss it. I mean, I don't even think about alcohol. Right. It's not part of your work. I don't think about cigarettes. I don't think about any of that. If you don't,
Let's put on some volume. I think so you guys can hear. Okay, let's listen, let's react. Check out the channel. Here's Sober Leon. This guy has helped me flip the script and change my own mindset with alcohol. Because I can be surrounded with people now and I won't drink. So sometimes I lie and I say I do drink beers, but in reality I don't. Because what's the point of having that? Hmm? Tell me, guys, what's the point? No point. Okay, let's watch. Let's watch and learn.
drink, you don't miss it. I mean, I don't even think about alcohol.
Right, it's not a part of your
I don't
world.
think about cigarettes. I
Yeah.
don't think about any of that. If you don't take drugs or if you don't have alcohol, it's real easy not to drink it.
Alcohol is a very promiscuous drug. It gets into the brain and it changes all the good neurotransmitters that you want to change. A bit of endorphins, a bit of serotonin, but gradually it sort of worms its way into you. So eventually it kind of takes over, and you get to the situation like they just find themselves drink. They don't even intend to drink. They're just suddenly there drinking. They don't know how they got there. They don't want to do it. They don't even enjoy it very much, but they can't stop. It becomes a compulsion.
Do you think you had a drinking problem? Oh, yeah, man.
See, they say they enjoy it much. I think I must share this on Facebook. I personally think I must share this on Facebook.
I had a drinking problem. But you didn't think it at the time.
Well, my drinking problem had digressed quite a bit. So, I used to drink close to 2/5 of vodka a day.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm never going back. I feel stupid for waiting this long. Because, I would have these days, we go to the club, we would do some shows, have a couple of cocktails with the boys. And then the next day, ugh.
Yeah.
And I'd be going through my workouts going, oh, you moron. What?
You feel terrible the next day. You feel terrible the next day, but 99% of people are brainwashed. They're in the matrix. They see this as a pleasure drink. It makes you broke. Why you still want to drink of this nonsense?
What have you done?
Yeah.
But you also start thinking, well, that's the only way to have fun. You have to have fun too. But no, it's not changing my fun.
Alcohol causes more death and violence than every single other drug combined times 5. Alcohol is the only drug that
Let's pause there. What he said, alcohol causes more deaths and also murders, all of that there, and violence. Let's pause for a second. Let's use this here. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth to speak. So We should listen more and speak less.
Impacts every single organ in your body. So from your brain to your liver to your kidney to your spleen, it enters your bloodstream and it's the only drug that you can die from withdrawing from.
And very quickly, if you want instant access to a brand new video training that I've just finished showing you how to control alcohol in as little as 48 hours, then click the link in the description. This new method is not about using willpower therapy or AA meetings, it's totally different. I do not publish this video anywhere else online and it's already changing thousands of lives, so click the link below for instant access. Once you're on the next page, enter your name and email address and your free training will begin. It takes just 7 minutes to watch, but it'll feel like somebody flicks a switch in your brain. And honestly, I'm not sure when I'll start charging for this 7-minute video training. That's how good it is. But whilst it's still available, click the link below, enter your name and email address, and watch that video now.
At a young age, I realized that I had a very weak mind.
Yeah.
A very weak mind, and I want nothing to interfere with my own thought process.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people.
See, I want nothing to interfere with my own thought process. The alcohol interferes with it. Same here. That's why I stopped drinking. People look at me weird sometimes when you don't drink. I don't like to put this in my body anymore. I used to, you know, and I won't judge anyone who's drinking because I've been there. I done that when I was young. Because why? We were not taught at the end of the day, you know. We used alcohol as a pleasure drink, you know.
Before they go on stage, they get a little bit tipsy, get a little buzz.
Yeah.
Maybe smoke a little something, do a little something.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that every single thing I feel is real.
Got it.
I want no masking.
Yeah.
I want nothing to mask my ability to feel fear, to overcome fear, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that people who drink and do these different things are trying to hide. Some people just do it. For me, I think of it as almost like a masking agent. So then your mind doesn't have to work as hard. And that means I'm losing.
This is a toxic behavior for me. And my whole life, it held me back because I knew that I couldn't surrender to something nor give it up. It was like that definition of insanity. You do the same over and over again, expecting a different result. I was a complete prisoner of my own behavior. And finally, 3.5 years ago, I was like, I can't do this anymore. It doesn't work for me.
It's the most personal thing to people. And I know it's one of the most personal things to people because try talking to someone else about drinking. Try talking to someone else about how you haven't had a drink for 2 years and watch what happens to them.
Instant
Well,
judgment.
I don't drink that much anyway. If I were to tell other people how they could do it is so particular to your own spirit and your own psychology that it's almost impossible to develop one way of explaining it to someone else. You have to fight really hard to look at it from a critical point of view because it's constantly pushed on you. Every Friday and Saturday on social media, there is enabling going on for drinking. What if I woke up every morning on Friday and Saturday and Sunday and put my feet on the ground and I just went, not hungover, and put it on social media every day, you know? Like, that would be an influence to people because I think you forget that's an option. And if you look at drinking the way you would look at anything else, which is risk, reward, what am I giving up? What am I getting? Some of the worst odds that ever existed. And I just looked at it like, I had one night where
Especially
I went
when you get
deep.
older.
Yeah, man, I just went deep one night. I remember being like, hey, what happens if I keep going? And it wasn't like dark, it wasn't sinister. I went, I always stop here. What if I keep going? It was really kind of like a oddly like playful kind of a thing. And then I went, oh, I'm done.
It's like this feeling of, oh my God, this is what I've been searching for my whole life. I'm my truest self, right? Like I'm so much funnier and cooler and people like me.
I want to pause it, yeah. You know, alcohol also, back in the days, I'll say it, yeah. I was very shy of girls back in the day, so if there's any ladies watching, I'm very shy of you ladies. So I used to drink to like help me with my confidence, etc. But now it's different. And from last year, I just said there's change. I need to change and can't rely on alcohol to speak to women and give me that fake confidence. Go back.
Me, that's all bull. Guess what? Not true. I was not myself, not my truest self. But it started with, wow, I can be free and funny. And I just like held on to that belief that real Lucy came out when she was drinking. Guess what? Real Lucy did come out, but it was that rage and pain that I had been holding on to for so long.
Alcohol drains your energy.
I quit drinking like 3 months ago. Little more than 3 months ago.
Like
now.
nothing? You're not drinking at all?
I haven't drank anything in 3 months. I feel great.
Was it hard?
No, it was super easy.
Yeah.
It was really easy.
You were ready?
Yeah, it was like there was too many days where it's kind of hard when you own a club and you're there a lot and, you know, you're having drinks with friends and they're like, you want a drink? Yeah, I'll have a drink. And then the next day I'd be at the gym. I'd be like, ugh. I feel like
Yeah.
and I'd be drinking all this water and taking all these electrolytes and getting a sauna and the cold plunge, just trying to get.
I remember when I used to drink, how much of times I used to have so much of this here. What they say in South Africa, come on here, what's happening here? Was he fighting with a mouse here? Okay, look here. Like water. I used to always have water, guys, when I used to drink. I mean, after I drink. And man, thinking back, I was a fool. That's all I can say. I was a fool. And surrounded by fools. That's why I was surrounded by fools. And you guys hear me clear? I was surrounded by fools, by idiots. And some of my friends still up till now, they are still the same. They still never yet change. Maybe this content in this videos will wake their minds up.
Back to normal.
Yes.
I'm like, why am I doing that? Well, in the 3 months of no drinking, I have not had one bad day. And it just confirmed what I thought. I was poisoning myself with fun. I was having a good time.
Yeah.
I was, you know, it wasn't terrible. I wasn't an alcoholic. I wasn't drinking and driving or anything stupid, but it was a couple of drinks, a few nights a week. Maybe I'd go out with my wife on date night, have a couple glasses of wine. It was just, at the end of the week, it's like you're drinking 8 drinks, and that's just not good. It's just not good for you.
I was a drinker, and at the end, my addiction had progressed so much that it was potentially deadly on a daily basis. The thing that was the most concerning and the most real about, you know, facing death was in actuality the alcohol. Once you fall into that lifestyle, and I wouldn't call it a lifestyle because there's no life to it at all. You enter a completely different world in which you're living kind of completely outside of the bounds of any communal norms. I don't know. It's a scary place to be.
And that was coming out of the agency. I didn't have anything to do, really, and processing a lot of kind of what had happened over the past 14 years. I didn't have any friends, severely depressed, whatever, man. Loved to party, you know, and that just, it was wake up, drink many bottles of vodka all day long, and then at night, you know, I'd crack a 5th. By the time I went there, it was like probably 2 bottles of wine instead of 2 bottles of vodka a night. Yeah.
That's a lot of wine.
Well, I mean, that's, yeah. It is. Anyways, came back and I just didn't want the wine anymore. I used to take Adderall, addicted to that. Didn't need that. Didn't need Ambien anymore. Didn't need anything. And
cold turkey.
Cold turkey, man. You know, the funny thing is, man, like it was 0 effort. It wasn't like I'm not drinking and I'm not going to do sugar and I'm not going to smoke weed. And I just didn't want it. There was just no urge. There was no addiction left. It was gone.
Alcohol poisons your body.
And, you know, it was started off with this, then it became that. Then my wife started getting on me like, Jesus Christ, look at the size of it. I go, it's a home pour. 8 minutes left in the shell, pour another one. So I poured the other one, and it was over, and I was walking down the stairs to our bedroom, and I didn't know if she was still up or not. I literally was hiding it on the side of my leg, trying to make sure the ice cube wasn't going to clink against the side of the glass.
And you give yourself the celebratory drink. I had a hard day at work, I'm gonna have a scotch. You know, we got married, let's have some champagne. We won, it's just all ingrained in the culture. And then you get there and you're like, why am I drinking this? And you don't know why sometimes you're doing it anymore.
Your brain tries to make as much of what you do habitual as possible. You don't want to be thinking about everything, you know, because thinking's hard work. You want it just be, you know, imagine if you had to think every time you made a sentence, you know, if you had to write it down before you go mad. So your brain, it learns to be very, very efficient. And when you start drinking, it just learns to take over and to Stop it being conscious and make it a habit. And once it becomes a habit, it's like biting your nails or habits are really hard to break. They're in a different part of the brain. It's very hard to unlearn. Once you've learned something to a habit level, it's very hard to unlearn it. And that's why so many people relapse.
I came to that point when I realized that I couldn't create music without drinking in the studio. That was my breaking point where I was like, oh, I have truly forgotten the source of my creativity, the source of who I am. And I'm looking for things outside of me to be myself. That's weird. I think when I was creating this project, I was always drunk, always drinking, always partying, and I couldn't recognize myself at all because I wasn't really myself. I was intoxicated, whether I'm smoking, I'm drinking, or whatever. And I wasn't liking the person that was reflecting back at me. And I was like, okay, I think it's time to like sober up. And I need to just get away from people and figure out who am I right now? Because I feel like I was carrying this version of myself that I had been since I was like 20, 21. You know what I mean? And it was no longer serving who I was to become.
Guys, just mind me. The content creator today is tired. I'm a little bit tired. Alcohol destroys your focus.
And I just think of the financial implications of drinking. It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Because when I was on the SEAL teams, we spent a lot of money on alcohol. A lot of money on alcohol. If I would have saved that money, invested that money, bought something, house, whatever, like it would have been just a totally different scenario. How much time did I spend drinking and did we spend drinking when we could have been getting better at guitar? Could have been, learning how to do a skill that would be more valuable. What sucks is, you're in the SEAL teams, there's only these certain skills that you care about.
That's it. And I think that applies
shooting,
to everybody.
You just care about diving. You're like, just these things that you care about and you can do okay with them.
Yeah.
And you're pretty good at them. And actually in your platoon, you're like, dude, we're all the best and I'm pretty good even with the best. So I'm good.
Yeah. That's exactly the same. Obviously not with shooting and diving, but with the stuff that I cared about, it was drinking basically was like second to all that stuff. So I could fit it in. If you can get 5 workouts a day or a week, get to work on time, do a good job at work, not get arrested and stuff like that, you're kind of good to go.
So you feel like you're good to go.
Yeah.
It went slowly from being a work hard, play hard, have a drink, to 2 drinks, to 3 drinks, to then a habit, to then a daily habit, to then a 24/7 habit, to then a every weekend habit, getting lost in myself habit. Sometimes if you don't watch the kind of habits that you're building, they become lifestyles. And not every lifestyle leads to roads of riches and benefits and incentives and a great life. Some roads lead to death, they lead to struggle, anxiety, depression, and all of the opposite things that somebody wants for their life. And I was there. Before I knew it, I was digging myself a hole, and everywhere I looked, it was so dark, and I lost myself. I spiraled into a sense of no self-worth. A lot of times that I was in that place, I thought that I was doing the right things. I didn't know who I was hurting. I didn't know who I was letting down, and I hit rock bottom to the point where I almost lost my job, to the point where some people had to have very tough conversations with me. I was incapable of leading correctly. I was incapable of being honest with people. You have to want to change if you're struggling with some kind of addiction, like I was. It's not easy to say that, but I wanted to change. I just didn't know how. From there, he said, Mario, perspective and gratitude. Don't forget where you've come from and everything you have in front of you. And gratitude, make a list of everything that you're grateful for in your life. And this revolution happened. Now from there, I had to make some pretty tough decisions on what my habits were gonna be next. So many articles out there and people out there that have chosen a sober lifestyle, have chosen to not have a drink here and there, have chosen to change things up during the week. And I had to read about all that stuff, and I had to follow some of those same habits, and I got to go to, certain meetings that I didn't want to go to, but I had to face the music. Then I had to find a way to fill myself up with other things that could replace the habits that I had. And 24 hours turned into 1 day, turned into 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And soon enough,
I tried to quit drinking a lot of times. I knew that my drinking was causing problems in my life across the board. I mean, I had less money, it was eating into my bank account, it was messing with some of my relationships. I would never feel good. The 3 days after I would go out on a bender, right, I would just be like a mess, and yet I couldn't stop. I mean, that's the key, right? As you go, I know this is screwing me up. I know it. And then I tell myself, you know what? Maybe it'll be different this time. I'm just gonna have 1 or 2 drinks this time. And then you have 1 or 2 and you go, well, if 1 or 2 is this good, what would 10 more be like? right? And something shifts in your head. So it's choosing that short-term relief at the expense of long-term growth. I think that getting out of that is ultimately hard. And ultimately, I also see addiction as kind of a symptom of some underlying thing. So for me, I think the reason that I drank is because I had an office job that I found a little bit boring. It was rather sanitary, rule-based. And as I mentioned before, I'm a person who I do well on extreme experiences, right? And when I would drink, alcohol would allow me to be sort of wild and free in this world that's become increasingly sanitary, increasingly rule-based, whatever. And I can find that now by applying it to a job that allows me to go into extreme and interesting places, right? And so I think that, the message for the average person is that once you figure out why you have an issue in the first place, and if you can figure out, okay, well, how do I apply it to something that enhances my life? That can be a good life hack. And if you don't do this, you're probably going to die early, by the way. I realized I had to just rip off the Band-Aid and do the hard thing. And once I went through that process, my life improved across the board.
And I'll tell you, I drank every single night of my life, and I never thought I could live without it. It was just, I was just like anyone listening that's like, no. You don't understand. All my friends drink. It's my life. It's my social life. It's my work life. It was everything to me. It's all I look forward to. Yeah, I'll never go like this when a friend enters a bar again. Woo! Like I'll never do that. I will never greet a friend with, she's here. Yes. Yeah. That's
Is that you?
That was me. That was like, that's something I miss. I'll never have that kind of drink enthusiasm anymore. But because I don't drink, I am killing it. My life changed. I can trace my careers before and after, like on the dot.
That sounds amazing. And there was no difficulty in quitting?
None. It really was easy. Maybe a couple times I felt like, oh, it'd be nice to have a drink. I was dating a guy that just wanted to have a glass of wine with me. And I'm like, why can't I just have a glass of wine? And I've been tempted. And I don't think that I would go off the deep end again. But I go back to that book and I'm just like, any reason I can give myself, it's just really, it isn't true. And I'm better without it. And we've been brainwashed to believe that quitting is really hard. It's part of their...
See, we have been brainwashed. Yeah, we have been brainwashed that alcohol quitting is really hard. It is not hard. Let me tell you that, guys. If this content here don't work for you guys, Sober Leon's channel, then try out Willpower, the AA. But you see, this year, his channel has helped me big time. Last time I drank alcohol was July for the Champions League. Then after that, I was like, no more. So this guy's channel will help you out, guaranteed.
Propaganda. They're doing that because if it's hard, you won't quit.
Andrew, is pot worse than alcohol? What a good basic question.
Alcohol is worse than pot. 0 alcohol is better than any. 2 drinks maximum for an adult non-alcoholic per week. It's kind of the upper threshold. Per week. Drinking's at an all-time low, and I think it's because people realize that, yes, it helps you fall asleep, but your sleep is super lousy. It messes up your gut microbiome. I'm not a teetotaler. I really think that people should do as they wish, but know what they're doing. But in terms of increasing your risk of cancer, especially for women and breast cancer, it's unequivocal. And there's yet another study this week that shows that even moderate drinking is bad. If you enjoy drinking, just limit it and do a bunch of other things like get your morning sunlight, get your exercise, eat well.
What about hypothetically asking for a friend? Like I don't drink a lot now, but like in the past, because I feel like the human body really is amazingly resilient. The way you can, do things in your past, and then once you stop doing them, you're pretty good. No?
Yeah.
But I mean, if that's true, then why not? I feel like I always did as much as my body would allow me to. When my body let me have 25 drinks a week, I did.
Much different impact in your 20s and 30s.
Right.
In part because of the way that sleep becomes more and more important for maintaining brain function and bodily function.
Alcohol steals your clarity.
That initially, alcohol really saved me. It taught me how to be a social person. I enjoyed going to parties and I enjoyed figuring out how to talk to people. And it was really this fuel that transformed me from this navel-gazing, insecure kid into somebody who felt like I could comport myself in a social situation as long as I was using alcohol. But very slowly over time, my life, the quality of my life just sort of declined and declined and declined. At the end, I was alone, alienated from my friends. My family didn't want anything to do with me until I sorted this out. Living in an apartment with barely any furniture, sleeping on a mattress on the floor. It was very dark for a very long period of time. the addiction elevator is always going down. It only moves in one direction. The best case scenario is that person's life stays the same, but in almost every case, it continues to decline. And it will decline to the point where the pain experienced by the person who is the addict or the alcoholic becomes more unbearable than the fear of the change. And that is where willingness is born. And again, it's not something that you can instill in that person. You could like hijack your friend and throw him in the back of a car and drop him off in a rehab, but he might escape from the rehab, or he'll sit in the back and just bide his time until he or she gets out and they can go back to whatever they're doing. That's why this is such a difficult problem to solve. It is an internally generated thing. The people that I know that have been able to get sober and stay sober are the people that shoulder responsibility for their own sobriety. You can't get sober for somebody else. I'm getting sober for my spouse or my kids, or, I'm
You cannot get sober for someone else. You got to do it for yourself. Yourself, no one else. Like I did it for myself. A lot of guys, especially guys in general, they'll be like, oh, once I have a kid, I'll change. Oh, once I have a wife, I'll change. Oh, once I find this beautiful girl, whatever the case is, with a nice personality, then I'll change. Stop waiting for someone to change your life. Change, make the change today. Make the change now as we speak.
getting sober because if I don't, my boss is going to fire me. Those you might be able to do that for a short period of time, but for the true addict, unless you're doing it for yourself and you're making it your number one priority, chances are you're not gonna last over the long haul.
To this day, I've never had a drink, and I have no longing for it. I have no interest in it. This was an idea that I had, where if we can teach young people not to take drugs, just not to take them. When I see friends of mine that are having difficulty with not having that drink at dinner, where it's literally almost impossible for them to stop, I say to myself, I can't even understand it. Why would that be difficult? The fact is, if we can teach young people and people generally not to start, it's really, really easy not to take them.
This person that I met, he hated the taste of scotch. Hated it. Couldn't stand it, but he insisted on having it because he felt it was important to be able to drink. I said, no, just don't drink. He said, to be successful in business, you have to sort of interact and you have to drink. And I said, don't do it. Anyway, he became an unbelievable alcoholic, uncontrollable alcoholic.
Oh, I thought you
and
were the
died.
best.
Yeah, and he died. He was but he hated the taste of scotch.
And he still
then
did
he
it.
couldn't live without it, literally.
Yeah, I quit drinking. Quit drinking over 3 months ago.
Oh wow! I know you guys used to do Sober October.
Yeah, and that wasn't that hard. And I was like, God, it's gonna be one whole month. And then I did. I was like, that's pretty easy. But I just had some revelations, I guess. And I think the big one is just physical fitness. I work out so much, and I would drink and go to my club and have a couple. Not a lot either. Just have a few drinks, and the next day just feel like total.
With age, especially, it starts affecting you
It's
more.
always been like that.
It's always?
It's
Okay.
always been like that. I've always been hungover after a night of drinking, but you don't feel it normally. Like in normal life, if I just did normal stuff, it'd be fine. It's when you're in the gym that you notice.
Right.
When you're doing like second and third set of squats or
Yeah.
something like that, you're like, oh God.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And I haven't had any bad days since I quit drinking.
Oh, cool.
I've eliminated all of that, and I'm like, just that alone is worth it.
Yeah.
For just that alone, it's worth quitting.
Why do you think there's this trend? Is it mostly for health? Like
Yeah. Well, I think there's a big health trend with a lot of young people. I think a lot of young people are recognizing the value of supplements. I think a lot of people are very health conscious. That's the rise of cold plunging and sauna use and, all these different things like intermittent fasting where people are really paying attention to their body and really paying attention and noticing that if you do follow these steps, it really does make a significant difference in the way you feel. And maybe more importantly, the way everything operates, not just your body, but your brain. It's like your function, your cognitive function improves with physical fitness. And, if you're an ambitious person and you want to do well in life, you want your body to work well, alcohol's not your friend.
A number of my friends.
I thought I heard rain or something. Yes, alcohol is also not my friend. Because why? Alcohol just took and took and took from me.
friends ended up alcoholic, and well, all the people that I was in high school with and in college with were extremely hard drinkers. And I drank quite a lot till I was 27. And then I found that I couldn't. Well, first of all, my life was taking a pretty professional turn. And second, I found that there was no bloody way I could write seriously and think seriously on an ongoing basis if I was hungover. So, and I got married and I was going to have kids, and I thought, yeah, enough of this. And so, I've watched too, as I've gone around the world, I've met very, very many people in many, many social occasions. And because I don't drink anything at all now, if I go out and watch people drinking, it makes everybody stupid and fuzzy-minded. And, the problem is when you're drinking, you think you're cool, but, you have those same delusions that Homer Simpson's friend Barney had when he was drinking, that you're this kind of, elegant and sophisticated comedian, and it just makes everybody stupid. Every time I had done something or said something that I regretted, it was when I was drinking. And I thought at one point, maybe I don't want to live a life where I'm continually or even sporadically wishing that I hadn't said or done something. And I'm very much unlikely to do that if I'm sober and clear-headed.
But it was booze. That is what got me. And it was just, just progressive. I was 33. I was fairly functional. I mean, I did a daily TV show and was fairly well known, kind of famous actually at that point. And I'm busy. I've got a lot of children. I've got stuff to do. And I would just not hesitate to have a cocktail or 3 in the morning. And that's a very bad pattern to get into, obviously. I sat and drank a quart of scotch with a friend of mine. He's like, scotch is really good. Just drink a quart of it. But then I got back to Washington in late August or mid-August, and I have this job, and then I get home from the job, it's like, click, click, well, I'll try some scotch. And the next thing you know, you're shit-faced at home. And part of me was like, that's not good. I had a couple of moments where I actually, at the White House Christmas party in 2001, I got too drunk to talk and stuff like that. It's just embarrassing. But I woke up this one morning at the last day of August 2002, and my wife was 10 days away from giving birth to our 4th child. And I was sitting at my desk, smoking a cigarette at home, feeling bad. And I just had this dead certainty that if I kept on this path, I would lose my wife and children. And I just had this feeling, and I was like, wow, I think I'm an alcoholic. I had lost control. I mean, I'm leaving a few things out, nothing dramatic. Next thing I know, I'm shit-faced. I'm like, I didn't really actually want to be shit-faced. I can't believe I got shit. What is that? I was losing control. I quit. I never had another drink after that, and I went into medically serious, but for me, pretty serious withdrawals. And that, I was like, what? I'm having alcohol withdrawals? I knew nothing about this, okay? I didn't know that there were alcohol withdrawals. I just didn't know. You'd think because of my mother I would know this, but I didn't know anything. When I started to go into withdrawals from alcohol, shaking hands, can't sleep, sweating a lot, and I have to host this TV show, and I'm like, I was addicted to alcohol. Holy smokes. How did I not know that? And then, so I never drank again. And unlike most people who quit, or many people who quit, I've never wanted to drink again. I just never, once I got past the first 6 months, I just felt so much better. I was so grateful. I've enjoyed being sober a lot. You can admit everything. And the people who love you will still love you. And when you know that, it's you are bulletproof. It's what are you gonna do to me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
And sobriety gets you there.
You're bulletproof. Let's take, let's read the comments here. I was 90 days sober in 2 months back on alcohol. Tomorrow I'll be sober again. Will be the 5th time. Enough. Lots, some battles, but I will win this war. Use first run circles thinking. Okay. Thanks, Leon. I'm 6 months of alcohol. You helped me a lot as what it is. Much appreciated. And I will never forget you. And I will pay back to support your channel once fix my finances. See? Sober Leon's channel helps a lot, guys. So, yeah, guys, I'm super tired. Go check out his channel. Here's it here. Check out his channel. Go support him, guys. You guys can go check out the Sober Clear program here. Started us back 2013. And yeah, guys, go check it out. Also, subscribe to mine right here. I'm on 12 subscribers. But yeah, guys. I'm tired, guys. So let's end the video right here, guys. You guys know, if you guys learned something, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and yeah, guys, let's get a ball rolling. We don't need alcohol. It's poison. It's poison. Remember that. Anyways, guys, catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.